And I do want to apologize for the Representative Govan for not being here. I believe he knew about this. I'm not sure. But just to know, I am looking at answering your phone calls. In other words, if elected, you call my office, I will return your call the very same day. I will listen to you, and I will listen to your issues, and I will bring them before the House. Some of the issues I'm looking at are teacher pay raises and also correctional facility pay raises. I know everyone's familiar with the prison riot, but just to know that includes all state employees' pay raises. State employees are out here working. If you go onto the government website, you'll see that some of them start out as little as $1,000 a year. That's like one tick above getting food stamps. So just to know. I'm also looking at school security. I'm also looking at property taxes, automobile. I'm sure some of you may be registering your cars again, and you may have noticed an uptick on your automobile property taxes. I'd like to see some reform on that. I know that's part of the gas tax, but I don't think that's necessary, especially if you have a hybrid vehicle. Why should you be paying $60 more on your automobile property tax? At some point, we have to say enough is enough, because this stuff will just keep going up. Also, utilities. As you know, private utilities are regulated by the Public Service Commission. However, municipal utilities are not. I would like to see regulation for municipal utilities, such as the Department of Public Utilities. Instead of having the City Council vote on pay raises, there should be a cap, perhaps where it's already at. But at some point, we have to do more with less. We cannot keep raising the burden on the taxpayer who has fixed incomes. We have a high unemployment, real high unemployment rate here. And just to know, I will be available. At the end of this, please come to my table if you want my literature. I have literature with me. And also, if you want to support, I'd be very grateful. My endorsements are already official.
Mr. Gartman, I'm sorry, your time's up.
Okay, sorry.
All right, we'll take questions from the audience now. If you raise your hand, you have a question for one of the candidates. I'd like to see our tax notices come out in October like they used to many years ago, instead of coming out at the very end of the year, and you're supposed to pay them by sometime in January. It doesn't give you enough time. Why can't we do that?
I'd like to answer that question. Thank you for asking that question. Part of that answer, and just part of that, is Audrey Asbury is doing an excellent job as auditor, so I would like to see her elected. She could help with that. And also raise Wanamaker Sebelius. She's already in District 6 on the County Council. She could influence those, so I would like to see her re-elected. Secondly, by working with the auditor, we could get those things done. Thank you. As your representative, I would work well with others. It's very important to stay cool under pressure, work well with others, understand where the other person is coming from when you have a debate on the House floor. Maybe meet up with them after the meetings. You know, even if you have to run a filibuster, meet with them afterwards so you can solve the problems across the aisle. And so I would work very well with everyone in the legislature. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It's about the office. It's not about just me standing up saying, I want to be your auditor. I have been in a position that I did things for you as an auditor. So please support me. Go out on June 12th and vote.
Hello, everyone. I want to thank you for letting us come out today. Just to know, my name is Gene Gartman, Jr. I'm running for House District 95 representative. I believe that this is going to be the most competitive primary that we've seen in a few years. It just seems to get better and better as far as competitiveness. So as a former poll manager for the Orangeburg County Elections Office, I want to give everyone some information. Registering voters is a great thing. I'm glad we're out doing it aggressively, but voter turnout is more important. We have rainy days, and out of 7,749 voters, maybe 1,500 show up for the representative office for electing someone as a House District Representative. So I'm encouraging you to get the word out to please come out June 12th and vote. Also, if you know of people that have moved, like perhaps sons and daughters that are college students, Clemson or University of South Carolina, and decided to register there or update their voter registration there, it's very important they update it in Orangeburg so when they show up to the polls, they will be able to vote. Not up in Columbia or Anderson, but here in Orangeburg. One last thing. I will be returning your calls. I will be listening to you just enough. Thank you. And I hope you all come out and vote for me June 12th. I'm glad you brought that second part up, that you started to accept it, because what's done is done. But I think it will save the county some money with the consolidation. When you look at the 3 different school boards that are in those districts, it's better to bring them together. It's less payroll going out, so we can focus on quality teachers. That's what we need. Does that answer your question, sir?
No, sir.
No? Well, thank you.
I just want to say something.
See, I didn't know, so I got the
Now, I'm going to say
the whole thing. I just found out about this day before yesterday.
No, I'm sorry. Mr. Gene Gartman. And he's who's running. And Mr. Gartman, you have 3 minutes, and you can begin right now.
thank you very much. I'm so happy everyone is here. Very grateful to have the opportunity to come out and share my plan. Just to know a little bit about me, I am a graduate of Orangeburg Wilkinson High School, class of '84. I attended the Citadel. I graduated from Excelsior College, Albany, New York, with my associates in Bachelor of Science in Liberal Studies with a focus on administration and management. And I joined the United States Regular Active Army, and I served a 20-year tour, and I retired back in 2006, 1 September. I did 20 years, 2 months, and 2 days in the Regular Active Army. Then I started a staffing agency here in Orangeburg, a healthcare staffing agency, and I closed that down after 3 years and went to work for the South Carolina Department of Employment and Workforce, helping people with their employment services, but also with their unemployment insurance claims. And then I was recruited by the Social Security Administration and worked at the Social Security Administration for 2 years. And then I left there, and now I'm serving for Dalton & Dalton, House for Veterans and Non-Veterans, as a marketing and outreach program coordinator. So just to know, what I'm trying to say, based on my background, is I have lived an entire background, nearly a lifetime, in public service. And I understand the pulse of the people. I know that we have a problem with affordable housing. I know that we have a problem with city and state funding that's supposed to come to Orangeburg County and the city of Orangeburg, and there's been a shortage of that the last few years. I also know that we need education reform. I know that we need pay increases for teachers, and we also need to look at school security along with that education reform, and also regulation of municipal utilities. As you know, the Public Service Commission regulates private utilities, not municipal utilities. And that's something that we...
1 minute remaining.
Okay, and then also I would like to talk about auto tax reform. As you know, they passed a gas tax in the legislature. Some of you may have already noticed the impact on your automobile property taxes, a slight increase. I would like to see reform on that as well. So after the forum, If you want to get with me, I will have brochures. I should have carried them around when I did the meet and greet. So please come forward. I will be here at the table after the forum. Thank you, and I hope you come out and vote for me, Gene Gartman Jr., on June 12th for House of Representatives District 95. Time for change. I'll be listening to you. I'll be returning phone calls the very same day. Imagine that. Leaving voicemail on an answering machine and not getting a phone call for how long? Maybe never. Anyway, I will be returning your calls. Thank you.
All right. The next person, which is Mr. Gene Gottman again. And this is going to be a capsulated answer. So this is not going to be a rambling conversation. You'll be timed on this. If elected, what would you do to change the way the office that you seek to be elected to? What would you do to change the operation?
Thank you for that. I think the biggest problem is being heard by your constituents. Everyone here may have an issue that they want addressed in the legislature, and my priority every day, every single day, would to call my office and find out if I have messages. And I would return those calls every single day. It might be 7 p.m., but I would get them in before the end of the day. So that's what I would do. I think that's very critical. And I know from personal experience that several lawmakers have not returned my phone calls. So, and I'm sure you do too. So I'm not mentioning any names or anything like that, but that goes on. It shouldn't. We need to remember where we come from and who voted us in. Thank you.
Thank you. Same question, Gottman.
I'm very happy we have school consolidation. Now we have budgets across the board. Instead of one district having an unfair budget compared to another district, now they're level, they're all together, same budget. So that's wonderful. And children are the future, most important thing. Along education reform, we need to look at school security in the state. Not just in Orangeburg County, but throughout the state. And we need metal detectors, and we need the school security personnel to be at those doors, not in some room in the middle of the school drinking coffee at 8 o'clock in the morning. So those are things that we need to look at, but also teacher pay raises. We need to remember that we have a very high real unemployment rate, different from the statistical unemployment rates in this county, and we need to take a look at fixed incomes. We need to regulate our municipal utilities. How many people here have DPU as their provider for electricity? Did you raise your hand? Okay, there are a few. Okay, but municipal utilities can just hike their rates as much as they want to. We need some kind of regulatory action to make sure they just don't spike them. We have people on fixed incomes. We have a high unemployment rate. Also, we need to look at the automobile tax, the property tax that was affected by the gas tax. We need to do some repeal of that. So I think we have a myriad of issues that we need to look at and we need to fix. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gottman. You can hold on to the microphone. That money will be utilized or should be utilized for the citizens of Orangeburg. Mr. Gottman?
Okay, I'll start with the school system because they consolidated in one district. Now we'll have fewer board members, that's less pay on salaries, with fewer administrators involved, so money's being saved in that area. Also, we need to bring back city and county funding that the state has withheld for the last 10 years. We need to bring that to the city and county back so we can go ahead and increase our programs. Again, we need to look at budget as far as bringing in new teachers. I fail to see, I'm a proponent for new teachers coming in from foreign countries. I totally understand that. But I would like to see our graduates from the universities get jobs as school teachers, especially if they want those jobs. So
15 seconds.
Okay. So anyway, I hope you come out June 12th and vote for me. Thank you.
Mr. Gottman? All right, it's your turn now, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think the Regional Medical Center has really turned around with the new CEO. They're doing the best they can. He just got the position. It's only been about maybe 8 months now, so we need to give him time, but I think they're turning themselves around. I think the Family Health Center is doing a great job. I do think we need to expand Medicaid, but also inform the public about the current services. How many of you are familiar with Community Long-Term Care, CLTC? A single hand going up. That's a program for Medicaid recipients that have to be on Medicaid, and you have a Medicaid card, blind, aged, or disabled, where they send a social worker out from the Department of Health and Human Services, Medicaid, Community Long-Term Care. They go out and assess the patient's condition. They can be aged, where they have mobility issues. They can be blind. They can be disabled. And they get aid and attendance care. And you've probably seen people in the community have that.
Tom, sorry, Mr. Hammond. Okay. All right, we're ready for next Tuesday. All right, fair enough? Mr. Gartman, we're going to start with you. You got 1 minute. Let's make it exciting at the end of this thing.
Okay, I don't know the whole legislature, but we've got people that've been there probably, people sitting in there right now for 25 years. If they couldn't fix something last year or the year before that, then they probably shouldn't be there. So what I'm looking at is asking you to come out on June the 12th, vote for me so that we can make change and someone's actually listening to you, returning your calls the same day. Thank you.
Also, House District 95, Mr. Gene Gartman. You have 3 minutes, Mr. Gartman.
Thank you, Mr. Elwood. Thank you, Deltas, and the Orangeburg chapter of the NAACP. Thank you for hosting this event. My name is Gene Gartman, Jr. I am retired, regular, active Army. I'm a former Army Gold Badge recruiter. I have my associates in Bachelor's of Science in Liberal Studies with a focus in Administration and Management from Excelsior College, Albany, New York. I have my roots here in Orangeburg. I graduated from Orangeburg Wilkeson High School. I was the last class to graduate at the old campus, which I believe is Clark Middle School now. I ran that track many years. So just to know, I joined the regular active Army, retired at 20 years, 2 months, 2 days. I started my first job in Florida as a healthcare staff officer. And then I left that job, came up here 10 years ago, almost 10 years today, in 2007, September, and started my own healthcare staffing agency, GCG Staffing Healthcare and Affordable In-Home Care. We were also a Medicaid service provider because we had an in-home care unit. After that job, I went over to the South Carolina Department of Employment and Workforce. I helped people with their unemployment insurance claims. I also helped veterans find jobs as a Disabled Veterans Outreach Program Coordinator. From there, I was recruited for the Social Security Administration. I worked at the Orangeburg Social Security Office and spent some time in Columbia on the 11th floor of the Strom Thurmond building, working for the Social Security, helping them out there at that building. After that, I started working for Dalton House for Veterans and Non-Veterans as the Marketing and Outreach Coordinator. We run a very successful homeless operation, helping people in the community, primarily the Tri-County area, Orangeburg, Bamberg, and Calhoun County homeless individuals. Very good cause. I'm also the Executive Director of Help You Project here in Orangeburg, helping the disadvantaged. About my programs and my focuses are on you, the citizens of Orangeburg County. Some of the largest things we need to worry about is regulation of municipal utilities. As you know, the Public Service Commission regulates private utilities. They do not regulate municipal utilities. That means the city of Orangeburg, for instance, DPU, can raise your rates if city council decides to vote on it. I want to regulate these utilities so we do not have more incurred costs on limited, low, no-income individuals that have a need. Secondly, I will be returning your calls. When you call my office in Columbia, I will be returning your calls the very same day. I may need up to 7 p.m. because I don't call people after 7 p.m. Anyway, thank you, and vote for Gene Gartman Jr. June 12th. Thank you.
Those goals that you are getting ready to tell us about.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Elwood. I think some of the challenges are very clear. We just had an increase in the gas tax, as you may be familiar with, and I have no quabbles with the increase in gas tax for revenues. I understand it's not that much, but property tax is also tied, automobile property tax is tied to the gas tax. And if you've re-registered your vehicle, you've probably seen an increase in your automobile property taxes. I know I have by $60 a year. And we already have people that are on limited incomes, low incomes, fixed incomes, no incomes, that can't even afford to re-register their vehicles. There are people running around our county and the state uninsured because they can't afford the insurance that goes along with it. At some point, we got to say enough is enough. Same way with electric rates. I would like to see municipal regulation of the city, DPU, for example, and all the other municipalities in the state, because the Public Service Commission does not regulate municipal utilities. So just to know, that's something I think we ought to look at as well. The bottom line is the cost of living allowance that everyone gets each year is not keeping up with this real cost that is spiking every year. And your sons and your daughters are going to have to experience it even worse as they increase taxes.
Time. Thank you.
The House to get things done, not fantasy treatment.
Okay. All right. Jane Gartman, you also have 1 minute to rebut. Sign right now.
So we're supposed to wait till a 2020 census. How is that immediate? Time for action was yesterday. We need to start now. Thank you.
Jane, 1 minute. 1 minute. Rebuttal.
Oh, let's go. Minute and a half. Minute and a half.
I'm sorry, I apologize. Thank you.
Okay, we're all excited
Reverend,
here.
excuse me. Reverend, thank you for keeping me online. All right, see, I refer to the clergy. All right, same question, healthcare, access and affordability.
Okay, I agree. We've got to improve Medicaid, and the status quo that we've had for the past 10 years is not working. We have elected officials that have been in office in the legislature for 20 years now, 1 on 40. These people have to go. We need time for change. Besides improving rural health care, though, we also need to inform the public. And there's 2 areas we need to look at. One, let's look at private insurers and make sure they have fair deductibles with the South Carolina Insurance Commission. And let's find out if these are fair or not. If not, they have no business doing insurance in our state. Also, Medicaid. How many of you are familiar with community long-term care? Please raise your hands. I knew it, about 3, 4, 5 people here. That's a program that one has to have a Medicaid card and be on Medicaid, and that's where aid and attendants go out to people's houses and provide PC1, which is cooking and cleaning, and PC2, bathing and dressing for disabled individuals, blind, aged, or disabled, so they don't have to be completely disabled. The biggest problem we got so many people here in this state that need health care that are uninformed. We need to have a commission to inform people, not just in the rural areas, but also in the counties and cities of South Carolina.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Mr. Jane Gartman, closing remarks. 2 minutes.
Thank you. Just like the Wando Bridge, this state is falling apart. And if we stay the course, it's going to continue to fall apart. Look at your roads, look at your infrastructure, look at your state employee salaries. The average salary for a state employee is around $24,000 a year. Some of these salaries start out at $12,000 a year. All you got to do is go to jobs.sc.gov and you can see those salaries. Just above food stamps, EBT. So we've got to do something about pay raises for teachers, state employees, detention center personnel. Everyone knows about what happened to the Orangeburg County Detention Center. I'm sure we're going to find out more about that later. But we've got to take care of our state employees because they help take care of us. Also, we need to look at education reform, school security. We need to be proactive, not reactive after something happens. Also, we need to look at the regulation of municipal utilities, as I mentioned earlier.
keep our electric rates low, and meeting with constituents. I'll be listening to you. I'll be answering your calls. Thank you.
All right. Folks saying to me, ain't gonna check. For Dr.
Decisions in South Carolina because those were
have had a Republican candidate who's in the House at.
I wish you all the very best. I hope that each of those of you listening, Ravenel wasn't.
What you have in your hand is a survey. The delegates have asked that you could please fill out that card so that, and leave it at the front desk. It's a yellow card or paper.